12 elite mercenaries, machine guns, body armor, versus 1 mute dishwasher with a meat cleaver. Sounds like an easy win for the bad guys, right? Wrong. Because that dishwasher is a former Yakuza assassin in hiding. They locked down the building to take hostages. But they didn't realize they just locked themselves inside a cage with a monster. No guns. No backup. Just a kitchen full of knives and a thirst for blood. This is the invisible servant.
Let's set the scene. We are at the Gilded Lily, the most exclusive restaurant in downtown Los Angeles. It sits on the 40th floor, a glass jewel box in the sky where a steak costs more than your monthly rent. The kitchen is a chaotic inferno of steam, shouting, and ego. And at the very bottom of this food chain is Hannah. She's 32, petite, with hair constantly pulled back in a severe, greasy bun. She wears long sleeves, always, even in the sweltering heat of the dish pit. The head chef, a tyrant named Marco, screams at her because a fork has a water spot. He throws the utensil at her chest. It clatters to the wet floor. Hannah doesn't flinch. She doesn't speak. She can't, or at least that's what everyone thinks. She just picks up the fork, bows her head, and goes back to the sink. She is the mute girl, the ghost of the kitchen. Out in the dining room, it's even worse. The general manager drags Hannah out to clean a spill near a VIP table. A tech billionaire surrounded by models accidentally kicks over his wine. When Hannah kneels to wipe it up, he rests his expensive loafer on her shoulder, using her as a footrest while laughing with his friends. "Careful," he sneers. "Don't get your poverty on my Prada." Hannah freezes. For a split second, her eyes, dark, cold, and utterly empty, lock onto the man's femoral artery. She knows exactly how much pressure it would take to snap his ankle and sever that artery with a shard of the broken wine glass. The simulation runs through her mind in a millisecond. But she blinks, the mask of the submissive servant returns, and she simply nods. She cleans the mess and retreats to the shadows of the kitchen. She is invisible. She is nothing. And that is exactly how she survives. But the air in the restaurant is changing. The elevator chimes are ringing too frequently. The pressure is dropping. A storm is coming up that elevator shaft, and nobody in the Gilded Lily is ready for it. Except for the dishwasher. The transition is terrifyingly smooth. It doesn't happen with a bang, but with a synchronized silence. The main elevators open and 12 men step out. They aren't wearing ski masks or ragged clothes. They are in high-end tactical gear, moving with the fluidity of water. This is a professional hit squad. We'll call them the Vipers. Their leader is a man named Silas, a calm sociopath with a suppressed P-90 submachine gun resting against his chest. In the lobby, the private security guards reach for their holsters. It's too late. Thwip thwip. Double taps. Silenced rounds drop the guards before they can even exhale. The bodies are caught and lowered gently to the floor. No noise. No panic. Not yet. Silas signals his team. They fan out. 2 secure the stairwells. 2 jam the service elevators. The rest march into the main dining room. The music, a live jazz band, stops abruptly as the pianist sees the laser sight dancing on his sheet music. The patrons, the billionaires and movie stars, turn their heads in confusion. Then, Silas fires a single shot into the crystal chandelier above. Glass rains down like diamonds. Everyone on the ground. Now, the screaming starts. It's chaos. People are scrambling under tables, dropping phones, crying out for help that isn't coming. The kitchen staff freezes. Chef Marco, the tyrant who was just screaming about a fork, is now trembling, hiding behind a prep station. Hannah is in the scullery, deep in the back, elbow deep in suds. She hears the distinct crack of the gunshot. She doesn't panic. She doesn't scream. She stops scrubbing. She turns off the faucet. The sudden silence in the kitchen is heavy. Through the swinging doors, she sees a mercenary kick the doors open, grabbing a waitress by the hair and dragging her into the dining room. The mercenary scans the kitchen. Everyone out. Move. He barks at the cooks. They stumble out, hands up. But the mercenary doesn't check the dish pit. It's behind a wall of stacked pots. He assumes the kitchen is clear. He leaves. Hannah stands alone in the steam. She dries her hands on her apron. The submissive slouch vanishes. Her posture straightens. Her shoulders roll back. The servant is gone. The Yakuza has clocked in. The building is now a fortress. Silas and his team have rigged the elevators with C4 explosives. They've cut the hard lines and jammed the cell signals. The LAPD is starting to gather 40 floors below, but they are helpless. Silas has the mayor's daughter among the hostages. He demands $100 million in cryptocurrency or heads start rolling off the balcony. Hannah is trapped in the back of house. A labyrinth of stainless steel, walk-in freezers, and dry storage corridors. This is her domain. She knows every creak of the floorboards, every blind spot in the camera angles. She moves to the staff locker room. She needs to assess her inventory. She has no gun, no radio, no armor. She opens her locker. Inside, there isn't much. A change of clothes, a bus pass, and a small worn photograph of a temple in Osaka. She looks at the photo for a brief second, centering herself. Then, she looks at the environment. She moves to the knife magnet on the wall. The chefs took nothing. There are global chef knives, boning knives, and a heavy serrated bread knife. She takes a 6-inch utility knife. Small, fast, easy to conceal. She slides it into her boot. She takes a boning knife and tucks it into her belt at the small of her back. She creeps toward the swinging doors that lead to the dining room. Through the porthole window she watches. The hostages are zip-tied, kneeling in rows. Silas is pacing, monologuing about corporate greed. He has men stationed at every corner. Hannah realizes the tactical situation immediately. There are too many of them to fight head-on. If she charges out, she dies, and so do the hostages. She needs to thin the herd. She needs to separate them. She notices a guard posted near the kitchen entrance, guarding the rear flank. He's relaxed, chewing gum, confident that the help has been rounded up. He turns his back to the kitchen doors to scan the dining room. Hannah steps back. She looks at the industrial dishwasher. It's still running, churning out scalding hot steam. She looks at the deep fryer station. The oil is sitting at 375 degrees. A grim smile touches her lips. They brought guns to a kitchen fight. Big mistake. Hannah needs intel before she starts the slaughter. She moves like smoke through the prep area. She climbs up onto the stainless steel shelving units, bracing herself between the wall and the ceiling ducts. She is incredibly strong, her muscles coiled tight. From this vantage point, she can see through the high vents into the main corridor. She counts them. 12 hostiles total. 2 are dead, security. 10 active shooters. 1 leader. Their formation is tight, military grade. These aren't street thugs. They are private military contractors. They check corners. They use hand signals. This makes them dangerous, but it also makes them predictable. They rely on protocol. Hannah relies on chaos. She watches the guard near the kitchen again. He's getting thirsty. He motions to another guard, pointing at the bar. He's distracted. Hannah drops down silently. She moves to the breaker box in the dry storage room. She studies the labels. Main dining. Kitchen. Walk-in freezer. Emergency lighting. She doesn't kill the lights yet. That would alert them too early. Instead, she finds the gas line valve for the massive 10-burner stove. She doesn't turn it on fully. Just a crack. Just enough to let a faint hiss of gas permeate the air near the entrance. Not enough to explode yet, but enough to create a smell. She needs to isolate the first target. She picks up a metal ladle. She retreats into the depths of the pantry, hiding behind 50-pound bags of rice. She throws the ladle across the kitchen. It hits a stack of pans with a loud clang. The guard at the door spins around. He raises his rifle. "Hello," he calls out. "Is someone back there?" Silence. I said, "Come out." The guard taps his headset. "Boss, I heard a noise in the kitchen. Probably a rat or a stray cook. Checking it out." "Make it quick," Silas replies in his ear. The guard enters the kitchen. He moves past the sizzling fryer. He moves past the gas stove. He enters the dark zone of the pantry. He has no idea that he just walked into the dragon's den. Hannah is breathing so shallowly her chest barely moves. She waits. She waits for him to pass her hiding spot. The guard, a hulking man named Davila, sweeps his rifle flashlight across the rows of canned tomatoes and olive oil. The beam misses Hannah by an inch. She is pressed into the gap between the shelving units and the wall, her body contorted in a way that seems impossible. Davila turns to leave. "Nothing here," he mutters. As he turns, Hannah drops. She doesn't attack him with the knife yet. She grabs a spray bottle she prepared earlier, a mixture of industrial degreaser and concentrated chili extract used for the suicide wings appetizer. She steps out. Davila hears the movement and turns. PHHT. She sprays the mixture directly into his eyes. Davila gasps, his hands flying to his face as the chemicals burn his corneas. He opens his mouth to scream, but Hannah is already moving. She sweeps his legs, driving her shin into the back of his knee. He crumbles to the tile floor. Before he can hit the ground, she catches him, or rather, catches his rifle so it doesn't clatter. She drops the gun. She doesn't know how to use it effectively, and it's loud. She prefers the tools of her trade. She drags the blinded, disorientation man toward the deep fryer. He is flailing, trying to grab her. She is half his size, but her leverage is perfect. She spins him, slamming his midsection into the edge of the fryer station. He doubles over, his face hovering over the bubbling oil. Hannah grabs the back of his tactical vest. She doesn't hesitate. She dunks his head. For 1 second. She pulls him back up. The scream is strangled, wet, and horrific. He is in shock, his skin peeling. He reaches for his sidearm blindly. Hannah draws the boning knife. With a surgical precision that betrays her past life, she drives the blade into the soft spot under his jaw, severing the brainstem. Davila goes limp instantly. Hannah lets the body slide to the floor. She looks at the hot oil, now contaminated. She wipes the blade on Davila's uniform. 1 down. 9 to go. She drags the body into the walk-in freezer and props him up against a pallet of frozen Wagyu beef. She takes his radio. She puts the earpiece in. Now she can hear them. 10 minutes pass. In the dining room, Silas is getting agitated. The police negotiator is stalling. He looks at his watch. "Davila," Silas says into the comms. "Status. Static. Davila, report." Silence. Silas signals to 2 other mercenaries, twins named Kane and Lynch. "Go check the kitchen. Davila's offline. Probably his comms malfunctioned, but check it." The 2 men move to the kitchen. They are more cautious this time. They enter with weapons raised, scanning high and low. They see the fryer. They smell the faint scent of burned meat, but they assume it's old food. "Davila." Kane whispers. They see a trail of water leading to the walk-in freezer. The heavy steel door is slightly ajar. Vapor is curling out along the floor. Kane motions for Lynch to cover him. Kane approaches the freezer. He kicks the door open. There, sitting on a crate of vegetables, is Davila. He looks like he's sleeping, his head down. "Found him," Kane says, lowering his weapon slightly. "Hey, wake up, man." Kane steps inside. As he touches Davila's shoulder, the body slumps over, revealing the gruesome burn wounds and the knife wound. Contact. Kane screams, spinning around. But the door to the freezer slams shut. Clang. Lynch, standing outside, jumps. He hears the latch engage. Hannah had been standing on top of the freezer unit, perched like a gargoyle. She dropped down behind the door the moment Kane went inside. She jams a heavy steel knife sharpener through the handle of the freezer door, locking Kane inside with the corpse. Lynch opens fire on the door, but it's thick steel. Bullets ricochet. Inside, Kane is screaming, pounding on the door. "Let me out. It's freezing in here. Let me out." Lynch spins around, rifle up, looking for the enemy. The kitchen is empty. Steam hisses from the dishwasher. "Boss, we have a situation." Lynch yells into his radio. Davila is Kia. Kane is trapped in the freezer. "We have a hostile in the kitchen." "Who is it?" Silas demands. "Police." "I don't know. I didn't see anyone. It's a ghost." Suddenly, a knife flies out of the darkness. It doesn't hit Lynch. It hits the fire suppression valve above his head. White chemical foam explodes from the ceiling nozzle directly above Lynch. It covers him, blinding him, filling the air with a thick, choking cloud. Lynch coughs, wiping his goggles. He fires blindly into the steam. Rat-tat-tat-tat. Bullets tear through pots and pans. Hannah is on the move. She is under the prep tables, crawling on her elbows. She grabs a rolling pin. Heavy, solid marble. She sees Lynch's boots through the mist. She rolls out, swinging the marble pin like a baseball bat. Crack. She shatters his right kneecap. Lynch screams and falls. As he hits the ground, Hannah is on him. She doesn't kill him instantly. She grabs his radio. She keys the mic so the entire team in the dining room can hear. She holds the mic up to Lynch's face as she presses her thumb into his shattered knee. Lynch's screams echo through the earpieces of every mercenary in the building. It's a sound of pure, unadulterated agony. In the dining room, the mercenaries look around nervously. The VIP hostages look at each other. Someone is fighting back. Hannah releases the button. She knocks Lynch unconscious with a swift blow to the temple. She doesn't kill him. She leaves him moaning in the foam. Fear is a better weapon than death. She moves to the main electrical panel in the back office. She finds the switches for the dining room. Click. The main dining room goes pitch black. The only light comes from the city skyline outside the windows. Flashlights. Silas roars. Beams of light cut through the darkness. Hannah activates the PA system. She plugs in her phone. She doesn't have a voice to taunt them. So she plays a sound file. It's a recording of a traditional Japanese taiko drum. Slow. Rhythmic. Boom. 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 The sound thumps through the restaurant speakers. It sounds like a heartbeat. A giant, angry heartbeat. Silas is losing control. Hunt her down. Everyone into the kitchen. Kill that bitch. He leaves 2 men to guard the hostages and takes the remaining 5 hunters into the darkness of the back of house. This is exactly what Hannah wanted. She has drawn them into her world. The kitchen is a nightmare of flickering emergency lights, steam, and that rhythmic drumming. The mercenaries are terrified. They are shooting at shadows. Hannah separates them one by one. One man slips on a floor covered in dish soap. As he falls, a clever cleaver drops from the darkness, severing his hand holding the gun. Another is lured into the dry storage. Hannah cuts a rope holding a 50-pound sack of flour suspended near the ceiling. It drops, exploding in white dust. In the confusion, she strikes from the cloud, using a sashimi knife to slash tendons. Finally, only Silas remains. He retreats back to the dining room, dragging the mayor's daughter as a human shield. He is panicked, sweating. "Show yourself," he screams at the dark room. Hannah steps out from the shadows near the bar. She is covered in flour, blood, and grease. Her hair is down now, wild. She has rolled up her sleeves. The intricate Yakuza tattoos, dragons and cherry blossoms, coil all the way down her arms to her wrists. The hostages gasp. The mute dishwasher is a canvas of violence. Silas aims his P90 at the hostage's head. Drop the knife, or she dies. Hannah stops. She is 20 feet away. She holds a long, slender Yanajiba knife, used for slicing raw fish in a single stroke. I said, drop it. Silas yells. Hannah looks at Silas. Then she looks at the hostage. She drops the knife. It clatters to the floor. Silas laughs, relief washing over him. Good. Now on your knees. Hannah smiles. A cold, terrifying smile. She kicks the serving cart next to her. On it is a bottle of 1945 Romanée-Conti wine. But she doesn't kick the bottle. She stomps on a loose floorboard she identified earlier. Part of the service skills meant for fixing wobbly tables. The vibration shakes the heavy cart. The expensive bottle rolls off. Silas's eyes instinctively flicker to the movement for a fraction of a second. In that microsecond, Hannah doesn't dive for the knife. She dives for him. She covers the 20 feet in 2 bounds. Silas pulls the trigger, but he's too slow. Hannah slides on her knees across the polished floor, dodging the burst of fire. She grabs the barrel of the gun, pushing it up. The bullets shatter the ceiling. She drives her palm into his chin, snapping his head back. He drops the hostage. It's a brawl now. Silas draws a combat knife. Hannah has nothing. She grabs a crystal decanter from a nearby table. Silas slashes. Hannah parries with the crystal. The decanter shatters, leaving a jagged glass shank in her hand. They trade blows. Brutal, fast, bloody. Silas is strong, but Hannah is faster. She ducks a slash, spins, and drives the jagged glass into Silas's shoulder. He roars, dropping his knife. She kicks him in the chest, sending him flying backward through the floor-to-ceiling glass window of the VIP balcony. He catches himself on the railing, dangling 40 floors up. He looks at her, begging, "Help me." Hannah walks to the edge. She looks down at him. She looks at her tattoos. She remembers the Yakuza code she left behind, and the simple life she tried to build. She doesn't speak. She just bows, a perfect, polite server's bow. Then she turns around and walks away. Silas's grip slips. He screams all the way down. The lights flicker back on. The silence in the room is absolute. The hostages are staring at Hannah with wide, disbelief-filled eyes. The billionaire who kicked her earlier is cowering under a table, peeing himself. Hannah stands in the center of the room. She is breathing hard. She wipes the blood from her cheek. She sees the chef, Marco, peeking out from under a prep table. He looks at the dead mercenaries, then at Hannah. He looks like he's about to vomit. Suddenly, the main doors explode inward. SWAT teams flood the room. Police. Get down. Get down. They see Hannah standing there, covered in blood. 3 officers aim their rifles at her. Drop the weapon. On the ground. Hannah raises her empty hands slowly. She doesn't resist. Wait. The mayor's daughter screams, running forward. She throws herself in front of Hannah. Don't shoot. She saved us. She saved everyone. The SWAT commander lowers his gun. He steps forward. He looks at the carnage, the incapacitated mercenaries, the traps, the precision of the takedowns. A detective in a trench coat walks in behind the SWAT team. He is an older Asian man, a liaison for organized crime. He looks at Hannah. He looks at the tattoos on her arms before she can roll her sleeves down. His eyes widen. He recognizes the ink. Specifically, the clan crest hidden in the dragon scales. The Osaka incident, the detective whispers. 5 years ago. The enforcer who disappeared. They called her the silencer. Hannah meets the detective's eyes. She puts a finger to her lips. Shh. The detective pauses. He looks at the saved hostages. He looks at the dead villains. He closes his notebook. She's a civilian, the detective says loudly to the SWAT team. She's just the dishwasher. Get her a medic. An hour later, the street below is a circus of flashing lights, news crews, and ambulances. It has started to rain, a classic LA downpour washing the grime off the sidewalks. The paramedics try to check Hannah, but she waves them off. The mayor is there, shaking hands with the police chief, promising medals and rewards. The rich patrons are giving interviews, describing the heroic battle they barely survived. The billionaire who mocked her runs up to the cameras. I saw her. I helped her. We were a team. He lies to the press. Hannah slips out the back service exit. She is wearing a borrowed oversized hoodie that covers her tattoos. She carries a plastic bag with her wet uniform inside. The detective is waiting by the dumpster, smoking a cigarette. You know they'll look for you, he says, not looking at her. The Yakuza doesn't forget. Hannah stops. She writes something on the condensation of a parked car window with her finger. Let them come. I need a raise anyway. She wipes it away with her sleeve. The detective chuckles. Where will you go? She shrugs. She points down the street. She steps out into the rain. She isn't the servant anymore. She isn't the Yakuza boss either. She is something else. A protector in the shadows. She merges into the crowd, just another face in the city, disappearing into the night. The camera pans up to the skyscraper, the lights of the Gilded Lily shining like a beacon. Voiceover. Never judge the person serving your food. You never know who is holding the knife. OUTRO. If you want to see Hannah return for part 2, smash that like button and subscribe. What would you do if you were trapped in that kitchen? Let me know in the comments below.